everybody. My first guest tonight has appeared in numerous films, including Being John Malkovich, High Fidelity, and Grosse Pointe Blank. That's just to name a few. Beginning next Friday, you can see him in Max. Real thrilled to welcome John Cusack. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. Happy holidays to you.
We have a little something in common. We're both huge film stars. We're also...
I have a talk show.
You have a talk show. We're both from very large Irish Catholic families.
Yes.
And I know in my family that means we go home on the holidays and then we fight at the table to get all the food.
Yeah, how many O'Briens are there?
We don't even know. They're just... I'm always finding new ones in the bathroom. Hundreds and hundreds of O'Briens. They're like, Big Order, how are you?
Yeah.
For the Cusacks, what's it like? Do you have the competitive food eating thing around the table?
Yeah, we have that. I think it just definitely develops bad eating skills as a child when you're just trying to cram as much food into your mouth as you can so you can get that second helping.
Yeah, you know, I saw once in some movie that when people, I forget which movie it is.
Prison Trait.
Or Prison Trait, where people that have been in prison for years. That's kind of what it was like. Yeah, they actually put their arm over their food so no one can take it. We do that in our family.
Yeah, we do.
My mother does that when she's eating creme brulee. It's just...
Was your mother a good cook?
She has a, yeah, she's a very good cook, actually.
She is.
I'm saying that because I'm on TV, but she's a very good cook. No, she's pretty good.
My mother's a good cook, too. That's kind of coded. I think I just got in trouble.
Yeah, now I actually, I know some of your family. Joan's been here a few times. She's wonderful. Your brother Bill and I used to be roommates years ago in Chicago. It seems like everybody in the Cusack family, you're all actors. Does anybody, is it shocking when a Cusack says, I think internal medicine is the road for me?
Yeah, it's strange. My mother actually was a teacher. She was a mathematician, so I think she thinks there was some problem in the hospipetal because
everybody wants to be an actor.
Yeah, they're all in the arts somehow, and she's like, you know, good with numbers, and none of us can add or spell.
That's great, yeah. People, I think, because of, you know, I think especially in my generation, a lot of people relate to you, to the different characters that you've played. Characters like Lloyd Dobler, you know, you just think, and Say Anything, I think a lot of people probably try and find some of themselves in those characters that you play. That's got to be a little weird for you if you're just trying to, like, go to a sports bar and hang out, you know? Because people, I'm imagining that you're the kind of actor that people try and talk to.
Yeah, people want to talk to you, and sometimes that's nice. There's a new kind of thing people want to do where they actually come up to you, right up to your face, and they just take a picture like you're in a zoo. So that's a little weird. The kind of they don't even like look at you and they take a picture.
Did you mind when I did it to you just before you came on the show?
I want to talk to you about that.
Because you hit me, and I didn't know how to take that.
Yeah. It's just a little bit of the flashing thing in the eyes is a little weird.
Have you noticed
sometimes when you mix the alcohol and the aggression in the sports bar, because they're rooting for the team, and they're all hyped up, and they're all liquored up, and they're just really drunk.
You're describing a pirate right now.
That's right.
Here's John Cusack. I see him. Like
that's exactly it.
Do pirates bother you a lot?
Yes, they do.
One of my favorite movies of yours that you did, High Fidelity. I love that movie. And that was a movie that you were not just acting in that film, you were writing in that movie, you were doing a lot to make that movie happen and to realize that film, and you were producing on the movie. And
well, it was a great book, so we adapted a fantastic book.
I was curious because I would think, you look at that movie and you think, I don't know about you, but I'm just guessing that you really are passionate about music. You really are passionate about, like, independent small bands, just from watching that.
Yeah, I am. I'm always a little bit behind the curve. A couple of my friends, two of the guys who wrote the movie, they always know who the current bands are, but I'm always a little bit behind. But I catch up. But I do love.
I'm curious, like, what happens
new music,
when you go into, like, a small record store? You sort of made that movie is kind of that movie is sort of making people that run small independent record stores sort of heroic.
Yeah, well, they kind of are heroic, really, because they're just, you know, they're so bizarre, and they collect all these records and they keep them in vinyl all the time, and they're always dealing with vinyl and stuff. So yeah, I definitely get good street cred from those guys. Like, if I'm walking over the shops, they're like, hey, I liked it. That's all they give, but that means
you don't get a discount or anything. Just
no.
I'd want a discount.
Yeah, I should ask for one.
You got Bruce Springsteen to be in that movie. Yes. And I remember sitting in the theater, and he's someone who you don't see popping up in movies.
No,
you know, he's not
yeah.
like in the National Lampoon Vacation films. You know, he's not someone who shows up a lot. And I remember sitting there in the theater and almost saying out loud, how did they get him? How did you get Springsteen to be in the movie?
It was very bizarre. You know, I'd met him a few times, and he was always a hero of mine. And so I just sort of tried to do the most absurd thing I could do, which was I just asked him.
Because no one probably thinks to do that. Just
well, I
ask
just
him.
sort of called him up and said, you know, I said, look, we wrote this thing where my character has a conversation with you in his head. So, you know, obviously we thought of you for the role. And, and we understand that you probably, and this is, I totally get that you don't want to do it. And I gave him every out in the world. I said, I just have to throw the Hail Mary here and, you know, see if it works. And please, you know, tell me I'm insane and I'm sorry for asking. And I did all that. And he just said, let me read it. And then he read it and said, yeah, it sounds fun.
Now, did you direct?
So I couldn't really explain it.
Did you direct him?
No.
Did you go in there and say, no, you're not being Bruce enough?
Yeah, I don't know.
You're not being Springsteen-y enough.
Yeah, no, I couldn't bear to think of giving him a line reading.
I think that was wise.
Couldn't
You
do
just
it.
let him go.
No, it was pretty great. We actually went to see him in New York after we'd finished filming the whole film, so everybody was kind of punch drunk and very, very tired anyway, so it was a very kind of surreal experience. All of a sudden we were filming Bruce.
Speaking of surreal, I was scrolling through all the different movies that you've made over the years and thinking about them in my head, and we realized today that you get rained on a lot in movies.
That's true.
And I know that I mean, you get rained on more than any actor.
A lot.
And we started to think, like, is this just us, or we just imagine this, or so we went through it, and we actually...
You're suggesting there's a pattern?
We're suggesting, why don't we all take a look at this tribute to John Cusack being rained on in movies right now. I just want to see. Let's take a look at this right now.
Clouds of mist drift over, confusion on the ground. Could be through the ages, trying to find the sun. And I wonder, still I wonder, who'll stop the rain?
Is someone... It kind of makes me think someone's mad at you or something.
Yeah, I think maybe the directors, you know, a lot of them are British, and you know, I don't think they're. I don't know what that means.
They're just used to it raining a lot.
I just think they want to, you know, some of them. Maybe it's just I'm paying for the sins of my rebellious youth when I used to question their authority.
Maybe. I think you get. We've noticed you get rained on in a lot of indoor scenes. We don't even know how that's possible.
I know you guys got rain up here.
Yeah, it's going to happen at some point. Now, let's talk about this movie that you've made. This is a movie that you are very passionate about, this movie Max.
Yeah, it's a really serious movie, and I hope people will laugh soon again, but later on in the show. But it's a movie about a person in Germany in 1919 who comes back from World War I, and he is an artist, and he lost his arm, and he really experienced the horrors of modern warfare for the first time. That's the first time in the world that people have been killed kind of that efficiently and brutally. Brutally. You know, 60,000 dead in 20 minutes. And he comes back, and since he can't paint, he has an art gallery in Munich, and he puts all this great new art by Groves and Beckman and all this stuff up in the art gallery. And a guy comes by who was in the trenches with him and wants him to sell his art, and that person is Adolf Hitler. And the two of them have
Because Hitler, of course, was a painter. That's how he tried to make his living.
He saw himself as an artist, and but he couldn't really do what you had to do to be an artist, which is kind of deconstruct yourself in some way, or be honest about what you're actually feeling and put it onto the canvas, or whatever your medium is. Because he was a coward. So it's really about when art and politics fused and the kind of tragedy of that. And it's a very serious flick, but if you want to go see something and use your mind for 2 hours in a really intense way, I think you know, it's well worth it.
We have a clip here from the movie. What do we need to know to appreciate the clip?
I think this is the beginning of the film when you've sort of set up these two characters who are both trying to find their future through art, and one of them wants to use art to kind of process his war experience and in a very human way, and the other one wants to use art to start another war later.
Okay, let's take a look at this clip from Max.
Is this your building? Is this some sort of club?
I sell art.
In here?
Is that a portfolio?
Yeah.
Fork it over, Corporal. Let's take a look.
What's your market then?
Mostly modern stuff.
Oh, modern, like, next time I have diarrhea, I'll bring it round to you, huh?
You could do worse. I certainly wouldn't reject it out of hand. I'm open to everything. Would you like a cigarette?
I'll give you cancer of the lung.
Are you a doctor? No, darling. These Lord Von Peltz, this is Corporal
Hitler. Adolf Hitler.
Eerie to see him as a young man who's like... Max opens next Friday in New York and Los Angeles.
It'll come out.
Opens wide on January 24th, so watch for that movie. You were on my very short list of people I always wanted to talk to, so thanks a lot for being here. Very cool to have you. John Cusack, Jamie Kennedy coming up. We'll be right back. That was really great.